Good evening, everyone, or as I like to say, good afternoon, or maybe good morning for some countries and some continents. My name is Katarzyna Ostasz, as you probably know me. I am the host of this channel, Silva Method Instructor, and today I have this huge pleasure to have beside me Laura Enache, one of our beautiful and super powerful with beautiful energy Silva Method graduate, Laura, and I'm going to introduce you soon. But if you don't mind, I'm just going to first of all welcome all new subscribers on this channel because I'm not sure if you are with us. I presume that you are, but this channel is growing pretty fast. And as I today checked the numbers of our subscribers, we do have more than 16,000 people on that channel. Yeah. I see that people are joining us, so we can actually slowly start, I believe, a very, very powerful conversation. And I know that many people are waiting for you to be with us today, to hear your story and to be more aware about your successes with the Silva Method program. So first of all, Laura, I want to thank you so much that you found the time to be with us today. You are based in Dublin, so we are from the same town, let's call it like that. And Laura, please let us know, how are you doing? How are you keeping? How was your day so far? Before I'm going to tell people more about you.
Yes. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hi, Kasia. And thank you so much for the invite. I am better and better, and my day was absolutely fantastic. And yes, a lot of nice conversations in work, a lot of people that connected with me. And it's interesting because actually yesterday, one person from Romania reached out, and that person is asking me about Silva Method, saying that, oh, I noticed on your Facebook wall that you're a Silva Method graduate, and I'd like to ask you more questions. So I hope Danielle can join us live. If not, I'm going to catch up with him tomorrow anyways. So yes, a beautiful, beautiful day.
Super. Okay, so guys, so as you can see, and you can probably already feel, this beautiful energy of that lady, I'm going to share with you, in my story, how Laura was preparing herself, for her interview. I'm going to promise you that you are going to laugh because she relaxed me so much. But, you have my promise. You will see that in my story. So make sure to join my Instagram or my Facebook, the Silva Method Island, because you are going to have a huge laugh. And Laura, she gave me her permission, so I'm going to show you the secret. But Laura, just to start on that professional way, let me introduce you to our audience today. Anyway, your beautiful bio is underneath of our video today, so people can read more about you. You also have a link that people can connect with you via your social media, and I highly recommend for you guys to do so. But what I'm only going to say, because probably I could tell about you many, many things, that you are originally from Bucharest, Romania. As I've already said, you reside in Dublin like myself with your husband. And this is actually so true. And I remember that this is how I found you when you joined Silva Life System training around, I would say, 2 years ago. You have absolutely huge passion for all things connected with entrepreneurship, meditation, dance. I remember that we found that common point with dancing, culture and yoga. And just let me tell you, because this is what I loved in your bio about you, that you are very passionate about enabling aha moments in people in your life. And you actually put your entire time, energy, and effort into working for discovering these moments. And you obviously have a lot of opportunity during your day to do so, because first of all, you're doing this at your work with a startup as a new frontiers program manager. You also do this in your involvement with volunteering organizations. Plus, in that passion in discovering your mind's potential. So I think that this is absolutely amazing. I just love that part of your bio, because it's actually you, and this is how I also see you as a person, as a personality, as a human being, and as a spirit. And also, what I want to add here for our people, that you are currently in training to become a hypnotherapist. And I think, that this is also very important message for our audience. Many people are waiting today also to hear your story, or let's call it your challenge with MS, multiple sclerosis, that you share your life with on the daily basis. So, Laura, one more time, thank you so much. Now I'm going to be quiet. Now it's your turn. And first of all, I want to ask you about your journey with the Silva method. Maybe first of all with the personal development area, because you have a huge passion, for self growth. Let's call it like that. So please let us know, how has your journey with the personal development and the Silva method started?
Thank you for that question. I think I understand it as two questions in one. On one hand, personal development, and on the other hand, Silva method. So my interest in personal development started maybe when I was 20-something year old. So really early, I suppose, in my adulthood. And that is perhaps the reason why I joined a volunteering organization called Junior Chamber International 10 years ago at this stage. Yes, 10 years ago. So I have always been interested and in a way wanted to grow and to develop myself. And whether those were, I don't know, training sessions around social media and how to build your LinkedIn profile or different things like that, I've always been interested in anything and in learning and continuously develop my skills in general, in business and in life. This in a way brings me to Silva Method, and also the fact that around 2020, yes, I started having extra challenges from an MS point of view, and I discovered Silva Method actually middle of 2020. I did a program on Mind Valley, again, a personal development program, and some of you might be aware of Vishen Lakhiani. And in that program called Be Extraordinary, Vishen talked about Silva Method, and I got curious. So I think that was around July 2020. Then I bought a book. And the book that I bought is here, and that book is Silva Method, Silva Mind Control Method. I read that book, and again, I was intrigued, and I wanted to find out more. And then at the end of 2020, I discovered you, and I signed up for your Silva Life System program in, I think it was November 2020. So yeah. In a nutshell, but it was step by step, getting more interested and reading in the book, starting to being like, okay, actually I can work with my mind. So let's try this, let's count from 50 to 1. Let's count from 100 to 1 and things like that in order to get my mind focused. So yeah, that was the beginning.
That's beautiful, and I would say very straightforward story, because like you said, you found yourself in some challenge, and step by step you took actually the another steps to become a Silva graduate. And I think that this is also huge determination on your side, that basically you discovered something, you knew that it might be helpful for you, and here you go, we have today you on this channel as a Silva Method graduate. I just want Laura to welcome people who are joining us. I think that your friends are coming over here. Hi Daniel, great to have you here. I'm not sure if this is the same Daniel that you talk about to us at the beginning, but maybe yeah, he is. So it's great, Daniel, to have you here. This is also opportunity for other of you guys to ask Laura some question live, because anyway, I am going to do my best to leave some time by the end of our chat for Laura and for yourself to basically ask her some question. Okay, so Laura, let's move now to the point. I would be very interested to know in which situation of your daily life you used the most the Silva method tools. Don't talk maybe right now about your favorite one, because anyway, I'm going to ask you about that. But generally, by describing your day and maybe your daily routine, if you can tell us, in which situation you do use the most the Silva method techniques.
Yes, I will definitely do. And perhaps if I can actually make a parenthesis, put brackets on this, because something that is recommended is actually to repeat Silva method. So I was sharing with you earlier on the story that we have done Silva Life System together. And then part of my discovery journey was the willingness to actually study in Romanian, not only in English. Mm-hmm. So I discovered teachers in Romania, and of course we were during the pandemic, and we were able to do things online. Mm-hmm. The positives of all that. And I have trained in Silva Intuition System, but more importantly, I have repeated a couple of times. And I want to highlight this because it adds a little bit more to our understanding and to our skills every single time we repeat. So I'm going to talk about things that I have been using so far. I'm sure that my toolbox and my mind will be able to incorporate a lot more and adapt a lot more and to apply a lot more. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to talk about, for example, sleep control.
Okay.
And another story is the fact that the more you use one particular tool, the better you get at it, and the more it becomes part of your DNA, and all you need at that point is just the power of a thought, of an intention, just to have a thought that I want to, we learn techniques, imagine the clock and put the clock, go into the level, into the alpha level, imagine the clock, put the clock what time you want to get up at, and all these kind of things. So we learn a lot of steps. And at the very beginning, I've done those steps, but after a while, you get so proficient and your mind gets so proficient at it that it's all you need is a thought. You get in bed and you're like, yes, actually tomorrow I think I want to get up at 6:30, and it just happens. Yes. So I find that amazing. So I'm using, and I don't even realize that I'm using the sleep control technique and mechanism. I'm the sleep control and the wake up control. That's what I mean. So even from a sleep point of view, there would have been times when maybe I wanted to fall asleep, or maybe I was having some challenges sleep during the night. No, that's not the case anymore. And again, I know because I have done the techniques a number of times, and at some point it just became regular. Yeah, it's normal, and if it happens, like I think this morning I was up at 5. Usually I wake up quite early. I wake up at 6 or somewhere between 6 and 7. But I was awake at 5 o'clock, and I was like, no, that's too early. Okay, sleep, back to sleep, and sleep mode, and so literally quickly, kind of remembering that method and that technique, and be like, okay, yes, and the next thing in the next minute, literally I'm back asleep, no problem. There's a lot of techniques that I'm using. So a lot of techniques actually are from Silva Life System that I'm mentioning at the moment.
Mhm.
And that would be the module, the part of the course that deals with our mind and managing our stress levels, and I suppose creating the life that we desire, the life that gives each of us satisfaction.
Mhm.
So, three fingers. I think everyone is using three fingers.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
No, no, no. Even if we do have a, sorry to interrupt you, Laura, even if we do have a non-Silva graduates watching us, they do know the the three fingers technique, believe me.
Exactly, and it's absolutely amazing. And I have used it before coming on this call, and I've just literally brought the three fingers together, had a thought on how I want this session to go, and that's it. And I know it's going to go that way. So yes. Then I'm another technique that I discovered, and I've used it successfully. I think it's subjective communication,
Mhm.
and I really surprised myself using that because I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, oh wow, this is what I can do. There's things like, actually, this is amazing, when you think, okay, three fingers to find the parking spot, and of course I always find the right
Yeah.
spot whenever I need, but there are things like controlling, maybe that's not the right term, controlling, but allowing the universe to um, maybe do things and communicate and respond to your intention. Maybe that's the better term. For example, I had moments when I wanted to bring on good weather, and it's amazing. I have used it for that reason, and it works. And
Wow.
and I'm like, okay, this is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I have plenty of stories like that.
Beautiful. And Laura, the one thing that I absolutely need to emphasize here is the way how you started, because see, this is exactly the same way how I do present my seminars. Always at the beginning, I'm sharing with people this message that, you know what, guys, it is going to work for you once you are going to do a lot of repetition. And, thank you so much for that, because like you said, first of all, you are very technical about it, right? Because you just want that particular technique become your habitual behavior, and
Yes.
after that, like you said, you just don't really need to go with that circle. You are just thinking about something, and like you said, it is coming. It is so,
Mhm.
like we do say in the Silva method. So this is absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for those story, because I think that people anyway are going to be fascinated. Okay, so again, I know that you are not feeling any discomfort about that, because it's not the first time once you are going to be interviewed publicly about your MS challenge. I've heard one of your beautiful interview that you've done in the past. So I think, Laura, to be honest with you, that many people are waiting for this part of our conversation. First of all, I want to tell you, if you don't mind, to explain us how in your scenario MS challenge is appealing in your life. What kind of maybe symptoms do you have? And then obviously, how you do your healing process, how the Silva method is helping you on the daily basis to be better and better with that. Because obviously I do believe, and I know that from you, that you just want to overcome this challenge one day. And I am absolutely, sure that you are going to do so. So if you don't mind to step into this part, and we are going to listen to your inspiring story.
Yes. Multiple sclerosis appeared in my life in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And for a period of 5 years, I absolutely ignored it. I pushed it away, and I perhaps did not want to maybe accept it in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the story, and it's interesting because I'm not sure if you know the Kluber-Ross curve of grief, but it's really talking there about when you do something in your life, what are the reactions of ourselves. So I suppose I was in that ignorance and rejection phase of, okay, is this part of my life or not?
Okay.
You were also talking about after 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
more symptoms started to come up, and
Mm-hmm.
in a way, some of them were literally at some point a wake up call for me. So you were asking me about symptoms earlier on.
Yeah.
Throughout the 5 years that I mentioned, the symptoms were perhaps numbness in different parts of the body, and actually, how I discovered it was with having a blurry vision in the left eye. And
Okay.
I remember being in a situation when I was at an event, I had to do a speech, and I had some notes on my phone, and I couldn't really see that well the notes, and I was like, oh yeah, I know it's what that is how it appeared in my life. That being said, um, mm, I was diagnosed with what is called relapse remitting MS, which means that things were coming and going and coming and going, and I was on medication and things like that. But on the 31st of January in 2020, yes,
Mm-hmm.
some additional symptoms started to come up. On one hand, related to some walking difficulties,
Mm-hmm.
and on the other hand, to some, in big terms,
Mm-hmm.
to some digestive challenges.
Okay.
So yes, they were quite challenging, and that's me being very diplomatic about it. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, I'm glad that I have and I am overcoming them, and the fact that I was sharing with you earlier on as well that there's a little or bigger miracle happening in my life on a weekly basis.
Yes.
Yes, we're talking about that because indeed I do a lot to recover, and I have discovered, speaking about Silva Method and
Mm-hmm.
speaking about the guides, the counselors, it is with their help that I got the message that as long as I do my best in my life, then the best will come out of it. So that being said, um, I'm doing a lot, and I call it the PhD into my own health.
Mm-hmm.
And this PhD has 5 different pillars. So there's the emotional aspect, there's the mental aspect, there's the physical aspect, of course, there's the energetic aspect, and the spiritual aspect. And I do things in all these areas. And yeah, it's not a story that I have told before, definitely not publicly. But what I remember and something that I'm learning is to actually be open and to accept things in my life, and um, to celebrate my successes. And I saw an MS nurse actually it was April this year, and that
Mm-hmm.
was the first time I saw her in 2 years. And it's not to say that my challenges are, from a walking point of view, are gone completely,
Wow.
but she was like, "Oh my God, you're walking! Oh my God, in 2020 in April, you were in the hospital in a wheelchair. Oh my God, So there are all these things that literally give me shivers, and Silva method and meditation and really that communication. Um, and that guidance in my life, it makes a huge difference. And it's the opportunity perhaps now to give a shout to also the teachers that I have studied Silva Method with in Romania, with Raigo Kuzmanovic, and also with
Mhm.
Anka and Christy, because they also, like, they bring so much joy into my life. And yes, I'm learning to enjoy every single moment. And yeah, it's amazing. Life is beautiful.
Absolutely amazing, Clara, and thank you so much for even mentioning Raiko. We do have an interview with Raiko, the Silva Method Director from Romania, on this channel, guys. So
Yes.
it is actually very, very powerful. So because you mentioned Raiko's name at the same moment, I just want you maybe to jump onto this chat because it is actually amazing. And like Laura mentioned, this amazing man, has this special power within him as well. So just, listening to Laura's story, I think that you are going also to find a lot of inspirational story taken from his life. So yeah, Lara, like people are saying here, you had hard challenges, but wow, so many things are better and better. As you mentioned, you are overcoming, those challenges. So I am absolutely happy to hear about that. And once again, thank you so much for sharing. So, in terms of your favorite tools from the Silva Method program, you mentioned already so many of them. So I know that Silva graduates can now reflect and think, okay, do I really use it? That's why we do have this course for repeaters. But
Yes.
one favorite tools, I'm kind of asking, those questions, everyone, if you can, share with us what it is and why, because we want to know your why behind these tools.
Yes. I think three fingers is my favorite too. But
Okay.
something else that I wanted to say
Mhm.
is I was mentioning to you earlier on that I noticed that we tend to, once something becomes part of our DNA, not that we tend to forget about it, but maybe we don't pay as much attention to it. And something that I started doing at the beginning of this year was literally to pick up my phone and to create notes of my Silva collection of successes. And
Okay.
in a way, this was inspired by Raiko as well, because actually Raiko, um, he released a book with collection of successes of Silva graduates from
Okay.
Romania. So I was like, oh yes, I think that's a very good idea. And as you're asking me this question, I'm tempted to look on the list that I have here, and perhaps I'm not sure if the one that we're using up so far, or that I have been using up so far, is the most favorite one, or maybe the one that I'm closest to at this point
Okay.
in time, because I all the time, as you know very well, things evolve in our lives. So definitely three fingers, but I suppose another one that I'm really connected to, and I'm teaching, it's an easy one, which is cancel, cancel.
Yeah.
And that is something that, again, it's easy to even share with family, and to share with, uh,
Yes.
and you get such I don't know, such a sense of well-being when my mom was telling me a story, when her one of her colleagues made a comment, and she was like, "Oh, no, no, cancel, cancel,"
Yes.
this is what my brother taught me. So I'm like, this is
Yeah,
this is
amazing.
amazing. But
Mhm.
something else that I had been using, and again, I think I like it a lot, is the hand anesthesia. Is that how you
Yes.
call it
Yes.
in
So we call
English?
it English. Yes.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. So yes, I like that a lot as well.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because yeah, I use it. And again, the very first thing is we use it with ourselves, we use it with our families, and and things again magically happen.
Yeah. No, that's amazing, and I'm glad actually that you mentioned, the tools that, again, maybe it's just my experience, are not really common set and repeated by Silva graduates because, very often people are sharing with us, yeah, it's my counselors that you anyway mentioned today. It's the mirror of the mind, well, they are actually talking about the cancel, but it was great for me, to hear today about the three fingers technique as your favorite tools and also hand anesthesia because it's
Mhm.
absolutely amazing in terms of helping you to manage your pain, which I believe is also, great in everyday scenario for each of us. So this
Exactly.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, so this is great, Laura. And okay, so because you mentioned for us this success book that you do have in your phone, would
Yes.
you like to mention, a few success stories, of yourself? You can even tell us all of them if we have a time. But
Mhm.
just to be, very serious, if you don't mind to share with us, Laura, something, because again, as I mentioned to you, having you here with this big smile on the face, beautiful energy, we just can't expect you to tell us something amazing. So please make sure to share with us something.
And I just want to add something else. You
Mhm.
see, the amazingness is in each moment and is um, for us and in our souls. So sometimes, and I feel, there's that imposter syndrome. But sometimes I feel like,
Yeah,
what we might share is like, yeah, but it was a big thing for me. So I'm going
exactly.
to share a couple. Let's pick a couple from this list. Why not?
Love.
Because I think they're all relevant, and that's why I wanted to mention it. I remember that it was a period, is related to health. It was a period around December, January when I was really stressed and I was going to Tala Hospital and getting different analysis done for something that they were investigating for me. But the communication that I had with the hospital is like they did not want to send me the results of the analysis, and there are all these kind of back and forth, and me chasing them, week after week after week to send me something. And I remember at some point I did three fingers, and I have this written down here. That I put the intention that I'm going to receive the results of the blood that I've done by 12 o'clock. Um,
Very specific, yes.
I was very specific, yes, um, and and it was very interesting because I sent this, and I must have been stressed and up early in the morning, like I usually do, and I wrote here, yes, I actually got the results by 9:30 a.m. that day. So literally, it happened instantly. And again, why I'm saying that it might not be a great thing if you take it out of context. But for me, considering that I was in a very stressful
Yeah,
situation, considering that
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
was having all that experience of
Mhm.
chasing them and not really getting the feedback and all that story, it was like a massive, massive success that it happened like that, just using three fingers. Um, then yes, I had speaking about the hand anesthesia. I did some exercising, and then I had some pain at the neck, and again I was like, oh, this is gone, this is gone, this is gone, and by the following day it was gone.
Wow.
So
Wow.
so again, amazing things like that. Um, but there's also yes, I have numerous using the clock method
Yes, you
and the
mentioned
wake up
even.
routine.
Mhm.
Yes, I sometimes I do, and perhaps this would be the most yeah, something that came to mind. Mirror of the mind is
Mhm.
also something that I use, and I remember last year Last year, in around, I can't remember, July or August, we were due to go to a wedding.
Mhm.
And I remember having this wish. I was talking earlier on about my walking challenges, and one of the big wishes that I had, and that I worked with the mirror of the mind for, was to wear high heels. So,
And
and,
dance, I presume. Yeah.
and yes, yes. So it was interesting that. Yeah, even if it was for a couple of steps, I did wear my high heels, and
Wow.
I danced all night like I never thought it would be possible.
Wow.
So, um, yeah, there's things like that that you really feel and you really put all your efforts into, and then it happens.
Wow. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And at some stage I just had a goosebump as always. I even, have a tears in my eyes, but this is me. But it's not really about me. Laura, I'm just going to share a few comments because the questions I'm coming to you, and I also do have on my list few questions that people left or Instagram or in the option of story. So if you don't mind, I'm going just to share with them later on. But people just thanking you, to appearing here. Pour love to each one of you, of us
Mhm.
opening as people hearts to embrace their life and touching all lives with such a love and light of embracement. So love, love, love to you, Laura is coming. What else? Yes, beautiful life. Yeah, guys, don't worry. If you were joining in the middle of our conversation, it will be on YouTube. So, you can just come over again and watch Laura's story because, what I found, I'm not Laura if you have it the same, but sometimes, I just need to hear the message few times because my second or third understanding of this message is completely on the different level. So I presume, guys, this interview, once you are going to watch it a week or 2 weeks after, you will see a different point of that. So make sure to keep going. Laura
Yeah.
said that's a great stories. Yes, I agree. What
I
else?
I
Yeah.
share something around that. I have what I call the power of the three, or the three rule. Something comes in my life, and it can come from a book, it can come from a conversation with somebody. But at some point, when I hear something in different ways 3 times, I'm like, I have to pay attention to this. And it's the
Yes.
same thing with, as we were saying earlier on, with repeating
Yes.
Silva Method or any other course, and mind reprogramming course. I think every single time you discover something new, and although maybe it would be identical to the previous one, maybe it wasn't, but still, something else new comes up, and it's like, oh yes,
Mhm.
actually, this
Yeah.
makes sense now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That was very important. We do have a message from Malik to you, Laura, because you mentioned a few times about the three fingers technique. He would
Mhm.
love to know what kind of step you follow before putting your three fingers together. So this is what we do teach you in the Silva Life System training. But maybe you have your own routine, maybe you have some intention that you are sending to the universe. If you don't mind to let Malik know what steps you follow before three fingers technique.
Mhm. Malik, I was saying earlier on that at the very beginning, we might have particular steps, and within Silva Life System, we do a programming there where pretty much we're programming the three fingers to work instantly. So that is part of the course itself. But what I was saying is that once you practice more and more and get used with something, all you need is a thought. So up at this day, what I think is, I literally set an intention. It's in my mind. It's I was giving the example of coming onto this call, and the intention that I had um, pre doing everything that that you'll see in Kasha's Insta story later on. I was like, my thought was like, I'm just going to enjoy and have the perfect time, doing this interview with Katja. And that was it. I know that sometimes people say put at the end and so it is, for example. But again, it's up to each person. So setting the intention and maybe saying, and so it is, I'm enjoying and I'm having the best time speaking with Kashan at this interview. So yeah,
Amazing.
it's just as simple as that. Nothing,
Exactly.
not
So it's like a statement, your intention, right? That you are kind of stating to yourself and you know that it will be so. That's
yeah.
super. So, guys, you can actually write your question if you don't mind in the chat box. And I have a few questions to you, Laura, just from today's story in my Instagram. The first one is coming from Barbara, and she is interested to know, where are you finding joy in your life?
Mm,
Yes, it
very
is.
good. Love this question. Love this question. All right. So I know that even when you introduced me earlier on, Kasia, you mentioned meditation. So I do meditate 3 times a day. So I do, when I wake up, I do my meditation. Something else where I find joy is speaking about, again, doing Silva Method in Romanian, and I have also discovered a community that I meditate with every evening. And we gather around between 70 and 100 people at the same time, and we meditate together.
Super.
Um, so I find joy in that community. I find joy more and more in the, I don't know, in the regular things. Perhaps I'm going to, the best thing is to give the example of the past weekend, because people, a couple of work colleagues and people I spoke with today were asking me, "Oh, how was your weekend?" And I was like, "Oh my God, it was wonderful," and it really was wonderful. And it's something that anyone can make those choices.
Yeah.
Perhaps the biggest thing was that my intention and my way of being and my soul was there in every single thing that I've done. So I went on Saturday morning, got my hair done, and then it was an absolutely gorgeous day. So even I spoke with my cousin, with my husband, with Cosmin, and I told him the day before. I said, "Oh, look, I would really like to go out and to do something after I get my hair done." But we were in Dunleary, and it was absolutely gorgeous. You
Yes.
see, I love
It was
the
great.
sea, I love water, and it was a beautiful time just to be on the seafront there and on the prom and really spend time just watching and hearing the waves. And so again, it sometimes it can sound like a massive thing if that resonates with you and if that is your thing, or it can be like, oh yes, it's just something that you've done. So I found joy in that. My message is, the question is not, and if I was to take a learning from this, is understanding what brings each of you joy.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
is where you find joy. I have, and I'm still doing it. I'm doing it less and less. It's something I'm working on, namely the idea of comparing myself with other people. So, of course, when we look on again social media and everything, we only see the best photos. We
Yes,
do this like
of course.
so. Of course, like so often. But it's when you understand that what brings you joy, those are the best moments. So to give you another example, I have some level of numbness in my legs, and perhaps related to the walking difficulties. I went to a ballet show. Ballet brings me joy,
Mhm.
and I could feel a light lighter, and I could walk a lot better, and I could do all these things in my life differently because that was a moment of pure joy for me. The same feelings I have when I do yoga, when I do meditation, or when
Mhm.
I have a really honest conversation with somebody. So, again, they can be different, but they're also personal and unique to each individual.
That's amazing, and I totally agree with that. That it's so important for us to find the joy in the things like you mentioned that we do like, because it might be so different for each of us. We do have a different passion, we do have a different value. So I think that I actually resonate with your answer so much, Laura. Now, and the another question is coming from Lynn.
Mhm.
At least this is her nickname on the Instagram. And obviously, seeing the description of our interview today, she asked you, actually, she asked me to ask you if you can tell us a little bit more about how you do heal with Silva. I know that you talk a lot about that today, Laura, but maybe one specific tips or suggestion for her. I believe, she wants to know this with the connections to your challenge, your story. If you can share with us what you do, to heal yourself and be better and better, just when we do think about the Silva method tools.
Right. Is this in relation to, I just want to clarify the question, perhaps understand it better. Is it in relation to healing and
Yes,
connection to Silva method?
yes, this is all about the healing. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, Again, brackets, because I discovered
Yeah.
I discovered something else. Throughout my journey, I used to have this approach of kind of a researcher approach. I'm going to try something in my life and then see if it works or not. And very often it didn't work. And then I was frustrated, and then I was moving to something else. And I have done this for a long time until I came to the realization that everything that I'm doing in my life has a purpose. So this brings me to the answer
Mhm.
to this question, because I think there's two aspects: what I do for healing, and the fact that Silva method has a reason for being there. So in a way, Silva method um, sparked my interest, and Silva method is actually the basis, the foundation for other techniques as well, such as hypnosis.
Yes.
And this is where I want to make the link, because I became interested in this, and I started doing a therapy course for myself to become a hypnotherapist. But when you do these things, on one hand, it's all about practice, and you get to work on yourself. And this is related to Malik's question, how I overcome limiting beliefs.
Yes.
So I'm going to give another example. So, for example, hypnosis is used in overcoming addiction, overcoming limiting beliefs, and reinstating different positive behaviors, whether you've had them in the past or not, reinstated them, or literally acquired them. But Silva method is actually the foundation for all of these other things. So something that I worked on, because as I was saying, during this course, on one hand, we get to work on ourselves. On the other hand, we have to practice and we work with other people, and also linked with the idea of, yes, actually, I get to help other people. And it's interesting, when you help somebody else, it's like you end up helping yourself.
Yes.
It's such an effect that it's miraculous. But one of the things that I worked on was that I really wanted to work on was to do physical exercise. And I love, for a long time, I've been doing ballet, I've been doing yoga, I've been doing qigong recently, tai chi, and a lot of things like that. But I was very much like on and off, maybe 2 weeks getting excited, and then a week or two
Okay.
weeks, not doing anything, and then getting frustrated with myself that I actually don't keep up, my exercising routine. And I know how important it is for, remapping of the brain and neural pathways and all those kind of things. And I know how good it will and helpful it will be for my health and all those kind of things. So I really wanted to work on this. And it's interesting because I can say that that is over 85, I think, over 80, maybe over 100 days ago, that
Mhm.
after doing those exercises, those sessions with a colleague of mine, I started exercising every single day. And, you know,
Wow.
it's amazing how the brain, and I don't think about it. Yes, I wake up, I do my meditation, I might do the exercising, or maybe I don't, and I go for, I don't know, just to swim in the evening, or maybe I go for a yoga session, or it doesn't really matter. But
Mhm.
there's something happening in my life at some point from an exercising point of view every single day.
Wow. Here is the answer for Lynn, and I think also for Malik, because you absolutely included, the part in terms of talking about the limiting beliefs. So
Yeah.
anyway, guys, if you are going to watch our interview later on, this is just the message for people who will be watching us later on today, probably a week later or a month later. Make sure to leave a question underneath of this video to Laura. I presume that she will be maybe looking at some point. If not, if the questions will be straight away directed to Laura, I will let her know, through the social media, and I'm pretty sure that Laura is going to direct this question. So this is great. But just coming to the end, Laura, because it's almost an hour. As you see, time flies. It's always like that. You know, I really want to ask you, because as I've already mentioned, in my marketing post when I talk about you, and even today in my introduction, I see you as a person full of joy, full of passion for absolutely everything. Your work, people, your passions that you do have. But if you can tell us maybe just few powerful messages, or even one powerful sentence that you can leave us with today, for people to getting more inspired, what it would be. I would be very interested, to also know that. Like talking, from the basic of your heart, what it will be.
Mm. Um, so I'll just mention whatever comes to mind, because I also am of the belief that, there's sometimes things come to mind, and they come to mind for a reason. I discovered at some point that, and I referred to this earlier on. Um, Maya Angelou said, "Do the best you can until you know better. When you know better, do better." So this came to mind when you asked me earlier on. And also linked to that is the fact that as long as you do your best, the best will come out of it. So, yeah, I just feel like I wanted to remind
Sure.
people
Mhm.
of that. There's no, or there is, the recipe. And perhaps we're all striving to find recipes, recipe for, I don't know, getting healthier, a recipe for
Everything, like I said.
exercising every day,
Yeah.
whatever the case is. But I found that in meditation and in the conversations with the guides, that is where the most creative mind, the most creative and crazy, and the encouragement.
Yeah.
That's what brings you everything, all you need in your
Yeah, that's absolutely powerful. And Laura, my understanding of everything what you were just saying is that it is actually the moment of now. And I think that I hear that from you today, from the reason, I used to record a lot of content today in Polish, just for my Polish community that I do work with. And actually it was in relation to be in the present moment, because like you mentioned, being in the meditative state or being in the conversation with people is just to be in the moment of now, because
Mhm.
like you mentioned today, you pay attention, so this is the place where you are giving your energy to. And I
Yes.
think that this is the moment of that creation, that you know that in the moment of present, being in now, you can actually create your reality. So absolutely beautiful. And I'm very touched about that. And I think that this is the reason also for me that I have to hear that from you today. There is few questions, Laura, if you don't mind, if you have a time, because they are very powerful, I think, and then might help few people who are on this channel. So again, Malik, I think that
Mhm.
you are going to become a fan of Laura. How long Laura, this is questions to you. How do you meditate? You mentioned this, I think, but anyway, if you can repeat yourself, how
Mhm.
long do you meditate and what is your preferred times for your
Yes.
daily meditation?
Yes. So I meditate when I wake up. So that would mean like the first thing. And well, no, the first thing is I go to the loo. The second thing is I sit on a chair and then I meditate. So that for me, just because I'm an early morning person, so that would be around 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then and again, you have a question around preferred time. I'm not sure if I've read something around length of time. No, maybe you haven't asked me about length of time. But
No, it's just one. When is your preferred time? Yeah.
that's my preferred time. What I think this is relevant as well around length of time because I used to put a lot of pressure on myself and to think that I need to sit there for 20 minutes. And if I don't sit there for 20 minutes, it's the end of the world. No, actually, it depends on what time I get up at and what else I know that I have to get ready. It can be anywhere from like 10 minutes to 30 minutes, and that is in the morning. And I'm at ease with making that decision and knowing what is best for me every single morning without feeling additional pressure. Then I meditate at 7:45. If you understand Romanian and want to join our group, it's 7:45 p.m. Irish time. So it's a little bit later, 9:45 p.m. in Romania. And then I also have I have a meditation that I listen to before going to bed. Sometimes I fall asleep with uh, with that meditation. It's actually a meditation for overcoming limiting beliefs and for reprogramming the mind. So again, Malik, very good question there, because I do a number of things in relation to overcoming limiting beliefs. And yes, that meditation is around well-being and is around well-being and abundance from all, let's say, in all areas. You know, whether you think of relationships, whether you think of money, whether you think of health, like literally, it's something that encompasses everything. So that's something else. It's usually 3 times. Some of the times, if I feel that let's say at lunchtime, I might feel like, oh, actually my energy is low now. I might go and put on a 10-minute meditation that I know I like, and it's something short and gives me a boost throughout the day. So I do that from time to time as well.
Super. Very, very detailed answer, Laura. Thank you so much. I just want to say hi to Siobhan. Siobhan, it's absolutely great to have you here. You know, it's just one of our Silva graduates. Beautiful, beautiful to have you here. And two last powerful question, Laura, because guys, we need to stop. But please, as I mentioned to you, do write your answer underneath of this video, because this is what anyway many people will be doing, but you can use this opportunity. But this is, Laura, very powerful. Two questions that I am going to read from Samuel DC, as I am reading this correctly. When did you first time realize SM was working for your post meditation? Do you remember that moment, or how actually that you know that was working for you?
That's a very good question. I'm trying to remember. I can't say that it was a remember that like, oh, now
Yeah,
it.
on that day. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes. It's interesting, and I also think it depends on our, again, values and belief system. It's just something that I believe in, and it's the
Mhm.
power of the mind. Even before doing Silva Method, I believed in it. I don't know why. I cannot
Yeah.
explain why. Maybe it's indeed I read books, and maybe there are books around. Some books were neuroscientists actually who read them, who wrote them, and they were talking about the idea of recreating neural pathways, and the way when we take up something new, whether that is a new language or playing piano or things like that, we recreate connections between neurons in our brain. So I'm not sure at what point. I'm definitely more a feeling person rather than let's
Kind of
say
thinking and
analytical
realizing this. Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Yes. But in a way, yes, everything came together, and I just knew that it works. And sometimes it's that rule as well, that perhaps our mind is looking for ways to demonstrate to us that we are right. So maybe it was my brain or the universe wanted to really give me the answers and to increase my confidence that this works. So yeah, things that just happened. So they happened.
Exactly. And this is powerful what you said, because to be honest with you guys and everyone who will be watching us later on, it doesn't really matter, like Laura, you said. The most important is the power in that belief that you knew that it's going to work for you, and it did. And that's absolutely, that hidden power of belief, of faith, that we also kind of emphasize very strongly during the Silva Method Foundation program. And the
Mm.
another question, which is, in my opinion, very advanced, but I think that it's coming from the fact that you mentioned that you do your group meditation. And did your colleagues use the instant healing on you yet with their psychic medium? So I think that you know what we are talking about here, Laura. That somebody did a healing on you and sent to you the energy of love in terms of helping you to become better and better.
If that happened to me, is that the question?
Yes, yeah. Did your colleagues used this on
Yes,
you?
yes.
Yeah,
And
simple as it
yes,
is.
the answer is yes. I had. It's interesting. A lot of good questions and memories come to mind. But yeah, there's a story. If you want, I tell you. Um,
Yes.
I had such a challenging time. Again, it was around last year, I think. I was having some nerve pains, and anyways, some really excruciating pains in my left shoulder and arm. And I went to physio, and I did all sorts of stuff, including connecting with, as I was doing the Silva Intuition System. I was connecting with a lot of people, and indeed, I do remember a day when um, things changed, shifted completely, turn around. So, it's interesting because the previous question was, do you remember the day when it worked? Well, I do remember that day when something physical was completely shifted and completely transformed for me. Because from that moment, I felt fine. And, I would have had previously, going to the physio and things like that, doing also, I call it the inverted comas. It's like a torture bed, just because it literally pulls your head up and down, and literally it's called spinal decompression. But I called it in a funny way. So I was doing that work with the physio, and I was feeling better and better. But it was that day when I worked with one of my colleagues that completely transformed, and I've
Amazing.
been well since.
This is absolutely amazing, and adding, bits to everything what you were saying. Yes, it's actually very popular in our community to do a distance healing, and we do have a beautiful resorts, in so many different communities around the world. So, guys, this is just the part of the Silva Intuition seminars that we do kind of explain you and then show you the way how actually, first of all, you can start, doing that healing for yourself, and then, sending this beautiful healing energy, love energy to other. And like Laura, you mentioned, this is very, very important and wonderful part of the Silva method teaching, because you are starting from you, like you said, and then you are practicing to be able to help others. And I believe that this is the most wonderful mission of the Silva method that Jose Silva put it, for us. And now, the world is becoming better and better. So, Laura, there is this big thank you coming to you, amazing energy. And just before I will go, that was Laura time. But guys, if you want to have such a beautiful result like Laura does, the another beautiful opportunity are coming on your way, because in the first weekends, 2 first weekends of October, I'm going to present for you Silva Method Foundation program online. So please use this opportunity. If you want to refresh the course, this is the option for you. Or if you want to become a Silva graduate, here is this possibility on your way. So Laura, wow, what can I say? Absolutely beautiful and inspiring interview. I think that it's going to be very popular. Anyway, guys, I'm going to use a lot of marketing around this story of Laura, because it was very simple, very straightforward, everything what you just shared with us, and so powerful and so inspiring. And Laura, you probably agree, we can do so much for ourselves and for others by simply using the power of our mind and, that beautiful part of us, which we call heart.
And
Do you want to finish? Do you want to finish with something? It's absolutely.
yes, I wanted to finish with something that I heard, I don't know, a couple of days ago, namely the fact that they discovered neurons in our heart. And it's something that I'm like, oh, wow, there's
Yeah.
something, because you're talking about, and also there's a connection between the brain and the heart. And again, it's something that I'm like, I need to find out more about this. So what I wanted to say is it was a pleasure. Thank you, Kasia. Thank you for the invite, and thank you for having this conversation. Yes, really, really much appreciated. And thank you to everyone who joined us as well, or for everyone who's going to listen, to see this interview afterwards. And yes, I just want to send a lot of positive energy to all of you. And again, I'm really, really grateful.
Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you so much, guys. And what I'm going to say is better and better. See you soon on that channel, guys. Take care.
Better and better. See you.